morning, everyone. I am one of the member of the Group-5. My name is Genevieve B. Pilones from Basic English 2B. The title of the article reviewed, First Language Accusation, Psychological Consideration, and Epistemology. Authors of this article is David Mashadi Hidar. Year published February 2012. The publisher of this article is Academy Publisher manufactured in Finland. Brief summary of the key points of the article reviewed. The field is multidimensional as illustrated by many courses on child language or language accusation that are taught in departments of linguistics, psychology, cognitive science, speech pathology, education, and anthropology. This cross-disciplinary nature of the field is also reflected in many handbooks and articles yearly published across the world. Relevant description of the article. Arguments relating to first language accusations have been tied into the arguments about particular models of language accusations and hence about particular conceptions of language. Probably the most renewed examples of the theoretical dimensions is linkage of the notion of such arguments, the innateness hypothesis, the idea that language accusations is only possible because of inborn language faculty. Your reactions to the work under review. This paper reviews three main theoretical perspectives on language learning and acquisition in attempt to elucidate how people acquire their first language and learn their second language. Behaviorists, annotates, and interactionists offer different perspectives on language learning and acquisition, which influence the acceptance of how a second language should be taught and learned. This paper also explicates the relationship between the first language and second language and elaborates on the similarities and differences between the two. This paper concludes that there is no one solid linguistic theory which can provide ultimate explanation of first language accusation and second language learning, as there are many interrelated factors that influence the success of language accusation or language learning. The implication is that teachers should base their classroom management practices and pedagogical techniques on several theories rather than a single theory, as the complex process involved in language acquisition and learning and contributes to the increased awareness of the process among the stakeholders in the field of language. What struck you as the noteworthy whether or not it was effective or persuasive, and how it enhanced your understanding of the issue at hand? The answer is they assert that despite the well-known divisions of the field of linguistics, until recently academics who could not agree on anything else had all concurred that linguistic data is presented as rules and principles. Pinker and Prince, 1988. The philosophical frameworks of functionalist and usage-based models, which have developed in opposition to the predominant rationalist and empirical paradigms, continue to be at odds with one another in current theories of language learning. For example, Noam Chomsky's rationalist belief highlight the difficulty of understanding how children connect with adults as someone learns a language they input information. It also makes sense to me now. This problem is a major focus of recent linguistic studies. Give your opinion about the article. It is easy to read or confusing. Is it interesting, entertaining, instructive? In my own opinion, in this article, In first language acquisition, psychological consideration, and epistemology, it is easy to understand their research. They created some scenarios involving a parent and a child. Parents put a great deal of effort into keeping conversation with their young children going, but only every rarely do they explicitly approve or disapprove of their children's grammar. This is very interesting article that will teach you a lot. You will know what first language acquisitions is all about. Chomsky's concept of language is also advanced. Does the author support his argument well? Yes, the author support his arguments well by giving some proof or evidences comes from different philosophers such as Noam Chomsky. According to him, if there is an innate language faculty and language developed in a way similar to, say, a physical organ or bipedal locomotion, Chomsky 1988, one can expect to be able to identify age-related stages in such development and periods of particular readiness of such development to the extent that such age-related phases are discoverable. They can be represented as supportive of the innateness hypothesis, while the edge effect on the acquisition of first language have been explored by many linguists and applied linguistics since 1960s, and language acquisitions has been one of the controversial issues in first language acquisition research. They also conducted research about the first and second language acquisitions, which the result of SLA research are also both interesting and confusing. Some make an analogy between the first and second language acquisitions and hypothesis that there is also an age for one set AO for second language learners. To put an another way, some applied linguistics. What are the article's greatest strengths? The article first language acquisition, psychological consideration, and epistemology has his greatest strength that teach us proper communication techniques in our childhood days are remind us as well to inherit those learning to every children's with interact daily. This strength includes explaining how psychological and create bonds to whom speak with which can give us hints in communicating. I also consider as strength the theories with concrete evidences related to language acquisition. What are the article's greatest weakness? The weakness of this article is showing how and adults react to the young people acquiring the first language without any effort. Who would you recommend this article to? I will recommend this article to my classmates and to the fourth year students whose major in English, because this article this article can help them to understand more about first language acquisition. And also, I strongly recommend my friends, family, and fellow students to read this article because it provides us with a vast amount of information regarding the first language acquisition process and brings together a variety of first language related concepts. To fully understand this article, one must possess very strong critical thinking abilities. What is the point of the whole article? The point of this article is to provide an overview of major theoretical approaches and psychological considerations related to child first language acquisition. The field multidimensional as illustrated by the many courses on child language or language acquisitions that are taught in Department of Linguistics, Psychology, Cognitive Science, Speech Pathology Education, and Anthropology. What gaps have you realized? The field is multidimensional as illustrated by the many courses on child language or language acquisitions that are taught in departments of linguistics, psychology, cognitive science, and speech pathology, education, and anthropology. What issue concerns are not addressed by the article? The issue concerns that are not addressed by the article is they didn't state or consider if the settings of the communication probably affect the flow. What I mean is they didn't emphasize well the effect of the surroundings, because based on my experience, learning how to communicate well is more effective when I'm comfortable with the environment, which gives me focus to listen and talk. Recommendation. Here we look at communication and language development in children. We discuss how to encourage your baby to communicate and help a toddler learn to talk. Talking, understanding others, and knowing what to say are really important skills in life. Being able to communicate helps children make friends, learn, and enjoy life to the full. You will be your child's first and most important teacher. Get your child attention, have fun together. Comments, not questions. Give them time to think. Use simple language. Repent what you say. Show them the right way. Make it easier for them to talk. Speak in your home language and build on what they say. There are the things that can make a child learns the language. So these are the last one is the references